Welcome to the webinar of Zoho Inventory. My name is Sofers and today I'm going to walk you through on the topic what Zoho Inventory adds on to Zoho Books. Although the current Zoho Books' inventory management features lets you keep a track of your stock levels, set preferred vendors, set reorder points and adjust inventory, with the Zoho Inventory add-on enabled, you can do much more. You can do advanced inventory management features such as creating composite items, item groups, packages, shipments, bulk adjustments, and the newfound sales return. This allows you to access and manage all your Zoho inventory modules within Zoho Books, thereby you can save a lot of time. Zoho Books is an accounting application through which you can keep a complete track of your payables, receivables, your banking feed, the expenses incurred, and much more. You can synchronize your banking feeds with Zoho Inventory through which you can reconcile your transactions. And through the sales module, you can generate preliminary estimate transactions, send it as an email to your customer. You can even convert the estimates into an invoice so that your customer can pay you. You can receive payments through online web links. You can keep a track of the payments that you've received, create recurring invoices so that you needn't create an invoice each and every time. Record your expenses. All petty expenses, petty cash management can be managed through this module. You can even erase purchase orders to your vendors, send them as an email so that your vendor can take a look at that and provide you with the items that you placed in order for. You can create a purchase bill through which you can pay your vendor. You can create recurring bills, create vendor credits to return the products to your vendor. You can also create credit notes so that you can keep a good track of the sales return process. You can manage your timesheets. You can even send out an invite to your accountant so that he can be a part of this Zoho Books organization. Make sure that all the accounting related propaganda are properly maintained. You can create new chart of accounts to be provided with a wide and varied range of reports starting from profit or loss, cash flow statement, your balance sheet, and the inventory related reports that will allow you to know the accumulated value of the stocks that are present in your inventory, the items that you sold by customer, and it can be even categorized based on the item and based on the salesperson, the expenses that you've incurred, the purchases that you've made based on vendor, based on item. You can even have a good track of the projects that you're currently part of. You can take a look at your timesheet details, an activity log which shows you what user performed what activity so that you can inspect over the operations of your organization, your trial balance, your journal report, and all the account transactions that were made towards a particular account. So Zoho Books is a dedicated accounting application that can perform almost all the accounting related functionalities. So just to bridge the gap between order management and your account management, Zoho Inventory add-on would really be crucial here. Enabling this Zoho Inventory add-on would bring in certain features from Zoho Inventory within Zoho Books so that you can do both your accounting and order management related functionalities through the same window. Now let us see how the Zoho Inventory add-on can be enabled within Zoho Books. To enable the Zoho Inventory add-on in Zoho Books, please make sure that you've subscribed to the professional plan of Zoho Books and any paid subscription in Zoho Inventory. To enable the Zoho Inventory add-on in Zoho Books, please click on the settings icon found on the top right corner and then click on Preferences. Click on General and enable the checkbox which is found under the Zoho Inventory add-on provision. Scroll downwards to click on the Save button and that would be it. So now the Zoho Inventory add-on is enabled within Zoho Books. You should be able to find the newfound functionalities such as item groups, composite items, transfer orders that would help you in moving the items between your warehouses, To enable the item groups in Zoho Inventory, please click on the Items module found on the left pane and then click on Item Groups. Now click on the plus new button found on the top right corner. This will take you to the page where you can create your new item group. Item groups helps you in creation of multiple items at a single instance with a shared attributes instead of creating them individually each and every time. Thereby you can save a lot of time. Let us assume we are going to create an item group called as t-shirts, which would come in multiple colors, multiple sizes. Creating each and every instances individually would be time consuming, and hence creating them as a single item group under this particular screen would help you save a lot of time. You just type in the item name, select the unit of measurement and mention the first parameter, which would be color. The next attribute would be sizes. As you can see, the system would list out all the possible combinations from the above mentioned attributes. All you need to do is now generate an SKU for these series of items, and then you can also mention the purchase price and the selling price. In the case of having UPC, EAN or ISBN, you can fill out these columns accordingly, and you can also mention the reorder point, which can be copied to all the individual items. You can also upload an item group image. So once all the details are fed in, you can just click on save. Now that the item group is successfully created, you can edit the items individually by clicking on the item name and then clicking on the edit icon. You can upload item images, mention additional information. Suppose if you have serial numbers associated to that particular item, you can mention that. You can mention the other opening stock, or maybe if you need to edit any other information, you can just do that through this screen and then click on save. Feature of Zoho Inventory is the advanced inventory tracking method. You can have serial numbers or batch numbers associated to your items, and hence you will have the liberty to select which serial number or from which batch the particular item is being sold out. To create a serial numbered item or a batch tracked item, all you would need to do is select on Items module found on the left pane and then select on Items. Click on the plus new button, type in the name of the item that you're going to save with serial numbers, mention the selling price, the purchase price, and enable the checkbox which says track inventory. Select the inventory account, and let us assume that I have 2 opening stocks of that particular item. Mention the opening stock per unit. And if you can see these 2 radio buttons which says track serial numbers and track batches, this is the advanced inventory tracking modules that we were talking about. So to associate a serial number, I would have to select track serial number, mention the serial numbers that are present hard coded in the item. So if 100 is one serial number, I would have to type in 100 and press comma and type in the next serial number and then comma. This would separate both the serial numbers, and I would have to click on save. Now that I've created an item called as iPhone with the 2 serial numbers 100 and 101 associated to it, I'll show you another example wherein you can create a batch tracked item. I would select the name, maybe I can give the name as hair serum, mention the unit, and instead of clicking on the track serial number radio button, I would have to click on the track batch. I tell the system that I have 2 opening stocks of it. So now the system is asking me to enter a batch reference number, so I'm entering it as AF2. the manufacture date, and the date of expiry, and click on save. Now, as you can see, I have created a new batch tracked item associated both manufacturing and expiry date to it. So in the time of creating a sales transaction, I'll show you how these two items would behave. You would have to select the customer's name and scroll down to select the item which I'm going to sell. The first line item being hair serum. This disclaimer cautions me to select the batch from which it has to be sent out. So I'll select the batch, I'll select the quantity, I'll select save. And the next one would be iPhone. I can select the serial number. Maybe if I have 100 and 101, I can select the most appropriate one from this one. You can also employ barcode scanning in this particular time so that you can save a lot of manual time whenever there are huge amount of items being sold. I can save it as draft. That's it. So when this invoice is confirmed, what happens is the serial number 100 or 101, whatever which was selected, is removed from the inventory, while one item from the batch AF2 is also removed. Now let us move on to the feature known as composite items. Composite items is the most comprehensive and striking feature of Zoho Inventory that allows you to sell multiple items bundled together. You can put together multiple items in a single bundle and sell them as a single commodity. This will allow you to handle special sales requests such as combination or combo sales, or you can even convert your raw materials into a final finished good. Thereby, composite items can rightly serve as the manufacturing feature that you're looking for. To create a composite item, you would have to click on the composite items found on the left pane and then click on the plus new button. Mention a name for the particular composite item or the bundle that you're creating, and followed by an SKU. Next comes the unit of measurement. Make sure that you select the appropriate items that goes into the making of this bundle under this particular tabulation. Here I'm going to select this particular item, and I'm going to tell the application that 5 units of this item and 6 units of this particular item are bundled together under this particular ball bearing set. I can either copy the selling price from the above tabulation, or I can mention my own. I would have to select the most appropriate sales and purchase account. Scroll down to mention the reorder point, and in case if it does have any opening stock, you can even mention that, and then click on save. Once the composite item has been created, it would take you to this screen where you can see the location where it is stationed at, the current stock level of the composite item, the details regarding the associated items, and the other sales and purchase information. Creation of a composite item will have no effect on the stock level of both the associated items and the final finished item, since it is just the defining part that we've done completely. Now for the stock level of these final finished good to rise up, it is mandatory for us to create a bundle. To create a bundle, all you need to do is click on the create bundle button found on the top right corner. Now it would take me to the bundling screen, where I can assign a particular bundling number to this, or I can even choose it to be set automatically by the system. If you can see this disclaimer message which tells me I can bundle one complete unit from the available stock. It means that with the available stock levels of these associated items, I can have a maximum of one final finished composite item. So I can click on save bundle, A bundle is successfully created now. Now the stock level of the final ball bearing set that we created rises up by 1, while the stock level of these two associated items would go down by 5 and 6 respectively. Here you can see the total amount of money that went into this bundling process, and this is primarily based on the purchase price of these two items. That the composite item has been created, let us move on to the next feature called as warehouses. You can define warehouses, move your stocks in between warehouses, and you can also select the warehouse from which the particular item has to be shipped out. So to create a warehouse, you'd have to click on the settings icon found on the top right corner and then click on warehouses. To create a warehouse, click on the plus new button, mention the name of the warehouse that you're going to create and save it. That the warehouses have been created, you can mark your warehouses either to be active or inactive by clicking on the settings icon as shown. This yellow colored tag, it denotes that this particular warehouse is supposed to be the primary warehouse to which all the opening stock will be sent. Hence, while you create an item and if you assign a particular amount of stock as opening stock, keep in mind the fact that all the stocks will be moved to this particular warehouse by default, and hence you can then move those stocks into the other warehouses with the help of transfer orders, which we will be seeing in the later part of the webinar. The number of warehouses that you can create here always depends upon the subscription plan that you've paid for in Zoho Inventory. Hence, in the case of needing any additional warehouses, feel free to write an email to Zoho Inventory inquiring about the add-on charges, for which we shall be glad to provide you the additional warehouses at a meager amount of fee. Now that the warehouses have been successfully created, I would show you how you can move your stocks between these warehouses. To do this, click on Items and then select Transfer Orders from the adjoining menu. Click on the plus new button and then you can either type in the transfer order number manually or you can set the application to do that for you. Select the source warehouse's name and the destination warehouse's name, followed by the selection of the item name. It looks like I have one unit of it available in the source warehouse, while in the destination I have none of it. So I'm deciding to move the one unit to my destination warehouse to this one. So I'll type in 1 here and then I'll select initiate transfer. Now that the transfer order has been initiated, the stock level of this particular item would be deducted by 1 in the source warehouse, and when I physically receive it in my destination warehouse, all I need to do is just click on mark as received and save. So now my stocks get successfully transferred from my source warehouse to my destination warehouse. I can either take a printout of this particular document for future references, or I can either save it as a PDF locally to my computer. Now let us proceed to the process of creating a sales transaction. The preliminary way to start a sales transaction would be creating a sales order, which would be my preliminary transactional document. From this sales order, I can create package, and then when I ship the same to my customer, I can create the shipment here in Zoho Inventory. I can generate shipping labels, and I can even track the physical location of the product with the help of the tracking ID that my shipping provider provides to me. I can also convert my sales order into an invoice so that I can record the payment that I've received from my customer, or I can even send a copy of this invoice to my customer through an email so that they can click on the payment link, mention their credit card or debit card details, and complete the payment. So to begin with, I'm going to create a sales order. I would have to select my customer's name, and the next would be the selection of the item that I'm going to sell. Maybe I'm going to select this particular item. It looks like I have 2 units of this particular item currently in stock. I'm going to sell one out of these. Okay, so I just go through the sales order to see if everything is perfect, and then I can click on Save as Draft. Once the customer is good with the pricing, so if he accepts it, accepts the sales transaction, I can just convert this to open, and then I can just convert this into a package by clicking on the More button on the top right corner and then clicking on the Create Package provision. Now I would have to click on Save. That's it, my package has been successfully created. If I can see the details pertaining to my package under this Packages and Invoices tab. Clicking on the package number, it takes me to the packing slips page. This can either be printed out so that you can give this to your warehousing staff who can pick your items and put them into the packages accordingly. You can also take a printout of the same and you can store this in your computer. I'm going to click on Ship now. There occurs two methods by which you can send your shipments in Zoho Inventory. Either through manual methods, or maybe in case if you have already have a shipping accounts with any of the leading shipping channels, you can make sure that you create the shipment through Zoho Inventory and generate the shipping label for the same. Now I'm going to show you one such method where the package is shipped out through the carrier method. Of the shipping provider's name, I would have to just verify the address of my customer. So I would have to click on the disclaimer which says verify address. Now that both of my addresses have been verified, I can click on the button which says save and continue. I would have to select the parcel type through which I'm going to send my items. You do have certain pre-made choices available here, out of which you can select the most appropriate one, or maybe if the package is of a custom dimensional one that you built by yourself, so you can just make sure that you mention all the shipping related details over here and then mention the dimensions of the package here. Clicking on Get Rates would send all this information to the FedEx server and a list of options would be displayed currently. Now I can select the most appropriate method of shipping from these choices and I can click on Create Shipment. Clicking on Create Shipment would take me to the terminal or the ultimate phase where I am provided with a .png format of my shipping label. I can just take a printout of this particular label with the help of a label printer, and I can directly print the label and stick it up on my packages, wait for my logistics guy to come and pick up, and then he would deliver it. So that's it. So we started with the creation of a sales order, went ahead by creating a package for the sales order, and then created a shipment for this. Now that I've shipped it, it's time for my customer to pay me. So I would open the sales order, go to the Packages and Invoice tab, maybe convert this into an invoice. Now that my invoice has been saved and if my customer has paid me, I can go to the Record Payment tab. I can just mention the amount that was received from him, and when I click on the Final Record Payment button, you can just see the status of the invoice gets changed to paid. That's it. So I started with the creation of a sales order and an invoice, then package, and then came the final shipment process. Now that we've seen the steps to create a shipment through the integration with my shipping channels in Zoho Inventory, it's time for us to know more about the method of shipping through manual integration. To create a manual shipment, all I need to do is create a package from a sales order, something similar to the one which we did earlier, and then create a manual shipping to it. I've deleted the previous package that we've created for this sales order so that I can create a package once again. Click on Save, and instead of clicking on the Ship via Carrier method, I'm going to click on Ship Manually. Now I would have to select the name of the shipping provider through whom I'm sending out the product, mention the tracking ID, and then click on Save. This would initiate the manual shipment process, and now I can click on mark as delivered so that the shipment status associated to this package, it gets changed from shipped to delivered, and hence my sales order gets fulfilled. Thank you everyone for spending your time on this webinar session. I would now be answering all your queries one by one from the chat box. Please feel free to contact us anytime by writing your queries to support@zoho-inventory.com. You can also call us through our toll-free numbers found on our website. You can go through our help guide documents, which have been well documented with supporting screenshots and step-by-step procedures. Thank you and see you soon.